Welcome to this module on housemate matching environmental factors, presented by DSO Housing Navigators. In this module, we will touch briefly on the individual support circle and environmental factors that impact housemate matching before focusing more closely on factors to consider related to the physical environment within the home being shared by housemates, as well as things to consider about the surrounding area and community. All information included in this module and supporting documents is provided for informational purposes only and should not be relied upon as legal, technical, business, or other advice. Developmental Services Ontario, or DSO, and its host agencies do not endorse any commercial product, process, or service referenced in this module or its producer or provider. The DSO also does not make any express or implied warranties or assume any legal liability for the accuracy, completeness, timeliness, or usefulness of any information contained in this module or supporting documents, including web links to other servers. Some URLs included in this document will link to a third-party website. Throughout this module, we will provide a summary of factors that commonly impact housemate matching and will then touch on how environmental factors such as neighborhood, the cost, security, shared spaces and upkeep, and sustainability can also impact housemate matching. Let's get started. This slide provides links to information and resources from the DSO Housing Toolkit, which are related to the content we will cover in this module. Link 1 leads to Step 1 of the DSO Housing Toolkit, where you will find information on the topic of housemates, as well as other information you might find useful to your planning journey. Link 2 leads to the My Housing and Support Plan form, which is a tool you can use to document key information about you and your lifestyle, as well as the needs and wants that are related to the housing and support plan you are working to create. This module and the others we have created in this series can help you to complete the My Housing and Support Plan form, should you wish to do so. The modules will highlight some things to consider in each area of the form. If you have questions or need assistance, please contact your local DSO Housing Navigator for guidance. The My Housing and Support Plan document is a PDF document that can be edited and works best when completed electronically, as it allows you to include more information and can be easily updated as changes occur. You are also welcome to print the form if you like. Link 3 leads to the My Relationships Circle tool, which can help you to think about who is important to you in your life. It records the relationships you have and how they can help you live the life you choose. Link 4 leads to the Housemate Partnership Agreement, which can help you consider and record the obligations, responsibilities, and commitments for 2 or more parties entering a housemate partnership. The 5th set of links leads to compatibility profiles, which can guide you through questions and a checklist that can help you and those you may consider living with understand your interests, skills and habits, and other important information that might influence who would be a good fit for sharing a home with. You may want to review the information from the toolkit before or after you work through this module. All web links shown throughout this module can be accessed in the resource document for this module. We will begin this module by talking about some of the most common factors that impact housemate matching. We have divided the information into 3 categories. The individual section refers to the person living in the living situation who is looking for a housemate and is or will be receiving support. The support circle refers to the people around the individual. This often includes family, if available, friends, other natural supports, and/or paid support. The environment refers to the physical space of the home, the surrounding area, and the community. It is important to recognize that individuals and support circles are all unique. Not all factors will weigh as heavily as others. What is important is that conversations happen to discuss all these factors to ensure that partnering individuals and circles are on the same page. Open, honest conversations generally help to create solid partnerships that can weather ups and downs that will come with a living situation. It is also important to recognize that it will be impossible to match to another person or their support circle if there hasn't been any thought or reflection on personal values, strengths, and needs. It is important to consider all these factors individually prior to meeting potential partners. We have created 3 individual modules that discuss each of the factors in more detail. This module focuses on the environmental factors. For the purpose of this module, we use the term environmental factors to refer to the physical home, the space in the home, and surrounding area, as well as the community. Many have the idea that it's important for a housemate to continue living in the same area where they grew up or close to their family home, rather than considering the neighborhood from that familiarity perspective. It can be helpful to think about amenities that a housemate wants in and around the home first. By amenities, we mean things like transportation, shopping, programs accessed on a regular basis, as well as enjoyable activities. Think about the places people go on a daily or weekly basis, rather than once in a while. Being close to family and friends is often something people put on the top of their list of priorities. This is understandable. However, it can be useful to consider how often you are likely to visit. Some neighborhoods aren't as easily accessible due to affordability or availability of housing and accessibility to amenities. Weighing the importance of being near family and friends versus the amenities you need and want in your life could offer the opportunity to expand the search area for housing, as well as potential housemate partners. Just because a person has always lived in a neighborhood doesn't mean it's the neighborhood they always need to live in. Cost is another factor that should be considered. It's important for housemates to have similar budgets for shared expenses. Consider what is required of the home in terms of needs and wants, and what the acceptable range is for housing expenses, such as rent. It's important to have a budget before viewing homes. Knowing the difference between your needs and wants is also important. To get an idea of average market rent in the area you are looking, look at listings to see what the average cost is for what you might be looking for. Also consider if the place you are looking at would require a guarantor, and have a plan for who that could be. A guarantor is someone who agrees to pay the rent if the tenant cannot pay. It's also good to ask if the rental is rent controlled, which means the rent increase can only be at or below the percentage set by the province each year. Rent-controlled homes are places that have been rented to tenants prior to November 15, 2018. It's also a good idea to get familiar with tenant rights and responsibilities under the Residential Tenancies Act before renting. Another factor to consider is security in and around the home. Security system usage has significantly increased due to availability and affordability. Things like keypad entry locks, camera doorbells, smart home monitoring systems, in-home cameras, and other technology are examples. Safety and security needs to be balanced with personal privacy in the home. Many are uncomfortable with cameras in the home, even if there is a good reason, as they feel it invades their privacy at home. Also think about security in the area around the home. This could be the building. For example, is there security in the lobby? Are stairways well lit? Are the common areas safe? Also consider the street. Are there lights? Is it a quiet street? Shared spaces within the home often include the living room, kitchen, bathroom, yard, and porch. It's important to think about how these areas are decorated and maintained. Should housemates keep personal items in these spaces? Decorations can be very symbolic and represent how welcoming the space is for all housemates. It's helpful to consider any sensory needs of housemates when decorating space. Housemates could have specific requirements for things like furniture, physical accessibility, lighting, scent, and temperature. It's also important to think about how these spaces will be used. Are there expectations about sharing them? Will housemates be free to use them whenever they want, or will there be agreements about how and when they're used? It's important for housemates to talk about and agree on how shared spaces are used, when they're available, and for what purpose, so that everyone feels comfortable and respected. Upkeep of space refers to the upkeep and maintenance of the home and property. Yards and driveways are really good examples of space that needs to be maintained regularly. In a rental arrangement, landlords are responsible for making sure this maintenance is taken care of. Some prefer to hire a company to manage these things, which would come with additional costs that would be worked into the rent paid by tenants. When one housemate or their family is a landlord, these costs are something that should be discussed and planned for so that expectations are clear. If renting a private rental, it is helpful to plan for who will be responsible for communicating with the landlord or building management when maintenance issues come up. For those renting from a company, having a positive relationship with the superintendent or building management office can really help to promote more independence in the community. Since we are talking about environmental factors in this module, sustainability relates to the home and property. If one housemate or a member of their support circle are the owners of the property, it's important to have a financial plan for property maintenance. Things like pipes bursting, pest infestations, or major repairs are expensive, and it's important for the landlords to build a fund to use for repairs that come from rent paid by tenants. If you are purchasing property for someone you support to live in with a housemate, then it's strongly encouraged to get legal advice on ownership, as well as financial advice, including an exit strategy should you wish or need to sell the property. Everyone should review budgets and factor in inflation over time. In rental situations, it is important to understand the different rights and responsibilities that apply to various rental arrangements, such as shared lease agreements, separate lease agreements, and subletting. For example, what will the impact be, if any, if one or both parties decide to end the housemate arrangement? We encourage all housemates to have a written rental agreement and a signed partnership agreement in place. It's best to create these agreements before the partnership begins and before any issues come up. If problems do arise, having clear written agreements can help resolve challenges or help guide the process if the partnership needs to end. We have created a housemate partnership agreement, which is a resource that can help to document agreements between partnering support circles. Here are some points of summary that may be useful as you move forward. All living situations have ups and downs. Building a strong partnership can help the relationship weather rough patches. Thinking about and reflecting on your resources, needs, and desires regarding neighborhood, cost, security, shared spaces, upkeep of spaces, and sustainability is an important step that will support success. Open and honest conversations generally help with the creation of solid housemate partnerships. Co-creating a rental and/or a housemate partnership agreement that all parties agree to before you move in is strongly encouraged. Educating yourself on your rights and responsibilities is an important step in being a good housemate, as well as being a strong advocate or self-advocate for safe and secure housing. This slide provides links to information and resources, which are related to the content in this module. Link 1 leads to Step 1 of the DSO Housing Toolkit. Link 2 leads to the My Housing and Support Plan form. Link 3 leads to the My Relationship Circle tool. Link 4 leads to the Housemate Partnership Agreement. And the fifth set of links leads to housemate compatibility profiles. All web links that are shown throughout this module can be accessed in the resource document for this module. This slide has links to DSO-related information and resources. Link 1 can help you locate your area DSO. Link 2 leads to information about DSO housing navigation. Link 3 leads to a list of housing navigators for all regions of Ontario and includes their contact information. And Link 4 will take you to the DSO events calendar. This concludes our module on Housemates Environmental Factors. For more information and content from Developmental Services Ontario, please view our website and social media accounts.